In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Welcome to Islam for Dummies. Today we will be talking about a scientific fact mentioned in the Quran regarding the male reproductive system. It is important to point out that while the Quran is not a science textbook, many of the latest scientific discoveries were revealed in Quranic passages 1400 years ago. This is in stark contrast with the Bible, which contains numerous scientific errors. For example, regarding genetics, in Genesis 30:37-42, Jacob changes the characteristics of animal offspring by having their parents look at white stripes while mating.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
First, we will examine the Quranic verse that describes the location of seminal fluid prior to being discharged. The literal translation of the Quran, chapter 86, verses 6 and 7 is,
Man is created from gushing water, which comes out from between the backbone and the ribs.
in other words, just prior to gushing or coming out of the body, seminal fluid is located between the backbone and the ribs. At first glance, a layman might think that semen comes out from the testicles. While the sperm is produced in the testicles, neither is the sperm nor is the seminal fluid, which is essential for natural fertilization, anywhere near them prior to ejaculation. The verse specifically mentions the entire fluid of semen and not just the sperm component. So let's examine the process of emission, where all the components of semen are joined. Sperm is stored in the epididymis, which is not in the testicles, but above them. The sperm, which comprises 2 to 5% of the seminal fluid, travels from the epididymis up through the vas deferens duct and around the bladder. Together, the seminal vesicle and the prostate gland produce 90% of the fluid in semen. This mixture travels through the prostate and is joined by mucus from the bulbourethral glands just below the prostate. It is at this point that semen is fully formed, comprising both the sperm and the seminal fluids. As we can see, just prior to coming out of the body, all components of semen are mixed near the prostate, which is centered in the body, between the backbone and the ribs, or between the spine and the chest, which is between the back and front of the abdomen or torso, and most certainly not in the testicles or in the lower body at all. Someone might object to this by saying,
The ribs are too high to say that the prostate is between the backbone and the ribs.
To this objection we answer that the head is still between the shoulders, even though it is too high, and the genitals are still between the legs, even though they are too high. Now, let's check the verse again.
Man is created from gushing water, which comes out from between the backbone and the ribs.
This precise scientific description could not have been known 1400 years ago, and even today many people don't know it, as we will see next. Second, we will examine some false claims regarding the scientific accuracy of this verse. In reference to this verse, Answeringislam.org quotes a mistake by Dr. William Campbell.
We are left with the very real problem that the semen is coming from the back or kidney area and not the testicles.
In fact, as we saw earlier, semen does not come from the testicles. Only the sperm is produced there, which comprises 2 to 5% of the semen. The sperm cells travel to the prostate, where 95% of the gushing semen is produced. Next, let's also listen to the false claims of the person discuss Islam about this verse.
This description reflects the view of Hippocrates, common in the 5th century. that semen comes from all the fluid of the body and passes through the kidneys on the way to the penis. We now know that it comes from the testicles.
First of all, discuss Islam also falsely claims that semen comes from the testicles.
We now know that it comes from the testicles.
It is quite astonishing how those attacking Islam make the same layman errors without checking their facts.
Wow, I feel good.
In any case, the Quran does not contain the scientific errors of Hippocrates' view, such as that semen comes from all the fluid in the body, and that semen passes through the kidneys.
So good.
As a result, contrary to discuss Islam's misrepresentation, there is no similarity whatsoever between this Quranic passage and the view of Hippocrates.
I feel nice.
Furthermore, let's examine some more of Hippocrates' related scientific errors that are, again, not in the Quran. Number 1, that sperm originate in the brain. Number 2, that both men and women produce sperm. Number 3, that healthy sperm is produced by healthy parts of the body. And number 4, that stronger sperm results in males while weaker sperm results in females. In conclusion, the Quran clearly mentions the scientific fact before it was known about where semen becomes fully formed before gushing out. Semen includes the sperm and seminal fluids, which are both absolutely required for natural fertilization. The Quran accurately states that this fluid is between the backbone and the ribs prior to coming out of the body, as seen from the profile view of the male anatomy. Those attempting to discredit this Quranic verse only succeeded in displaying their own ignorance about the male reproductive system. In addition, trying to ascribe the numerous scientific accuracies from the Quran to philosophers like Hippocrates, who could rarely avoid scientific errors on any matter, is obviously quite ridiculous. As we have demonstrated, misrepresenting both the scientific facts and the views of ancient societies is not only the strategy but a fundamental requirement for people attempting to refute the Quran's overwhelming signs.
Wow, I feel good.
We sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode of Islam for Dummies, and we hope to see you again next time.